Welcome to today's convening of the Creative Consultants. I am one of your hosts, Matt, burnt Chief Content Consultant.
And I am the other one of your hosts, also burnt Chief Communication Consultant.
And if it's not clear, we're burnt out.
Burnt out, absolutely.
Yeah. And today I thought we'd discuss how we can combat being burnt out through play.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked.
So glad, because we need to get out of this rut that we're in. But first, as is as customary when we start every episode, we start with a quote. And I have a quote for you.
Go.
By David Zucker. Do you know David Zucker?
Not personally.
He's one of the Zucker brothers, famous for Flying High, many parody films from the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
This quote: if you have a better idea, if your plan makes more sense, if you have a vision, then put down your laundry and scream a little bit. Throw your hat into the ring and never let professionals or their uniforms prevent you from telling anyone where to point their hose.
Very deep and poignant.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
I feel like you're right. It is very pertinent for today's episode about burnout.
Yeah. So where would you like to begin?
Where would I like to point my hose?
Point your hose. Spray.
This is a big episode because burnout is someone amazing in our team, actually. Okay, so it's Chase who's sitting over there. Mentioned that burnout is a bit like Fight Club, where it's happening to everybody and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's happening, it's like everywhere, everyone, all the time.
And I think there's the perceived like guilt about having burnout or feeling burnt out and being like, well, I can't. I've got to keep up. I've got to continue and push through this, where it's not good.
I've got to cope. Do you know over 60% of the workforce burnt out?
Really?
Silently burnt out.
It's not sustainable, is it?
No.
So we are creative. We are in a play creativity space.
Yes.
Do you have any techniques for combating burnout or recognizing and avoiding burnout?
Yes. Playing. So actually the biggest antidote to burnout is being playful and playing. And they did there's a great research, David Creswell, and he actually discovered that he discovered this. He was doing a research project about solving complex problems. Mm-hmm. And he noticed that the group that had to put down their tools and go and do something else before coming back to the project had much better outcomes. So he followed the trail and he discovered that the best thing you can do for your subconscious to solve all these problems and to relax is to actually stop, drop and play.
No way.
Yeah.
I guess it's also like in theory, amazing, right?
Uh-huh.
But I think there's a real barrier to just doing that because we almost feel like we need to seek permission to play or to do something that's not quote unquote productive. I know like in my own days, right? And like this is less burnout and more just like feeling lost or overwhelmed. And you kind of go, here's this whole to-do list of stuff I've got to get through today. And the instinct is to just push through, do it because there's so much to get through. When in actual fact, like if you step away, go for a walk or write something, listen to music, dance around your lounge room, whatever it is. We at Balloon Tree shoot for the business. Like we have a silly little basketball game here that like just breaks up that thing, changes the state you're in and can shake up a lot of that feeling towards the work you've got going on. But it is that the barrier is the permission to actually doing that thing.
But it's a self-permission as well.
Yeah.
I work in play and how often do I hear myself going, I don't have time. Like this badge of busyness that we wear to try and combat our burnout. But actually, by just, as you say, by stopping and going to do something playful, by going on a 20-minute walk, by doing something, playing with the dog, whatever it is, it's actually aiding your productivity. We just have to flick that mind switch.
Yeah. Do you have a time or a sort of period that you look back on and go, yeah, I think I was burnt out? And how did you get out of it?
Yes, I have struggled with this all my life. I had my first bout of burnout when I was quite young and I sort of worked myself into a state of absolute exhaustion where I collapsed. And I've always been very aware that I have the capacity to push myself to collapse. So I'm very conscious. I often will get to a point where I can feel that it's getting out of control and I have to stop myself and slow myself down. And that's not easy. I work in play and yet I still find I get caught in the rat trap of burnout.
Yeah.
Of wanting to succeed, push, particularly when you work for yourself, right? You don't have a 9 to 5. So it has to be a conscious thing.
Yeah, totally.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, right? Like I've worked for myself for as long as I can remember, and the idea of switching off just didn't enter into my mind for such a long time, because it's like, well, if I just do this thing now, I don't have to do it tomorrow. And then that becomes starting at 7 a.m, finishing at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and just no gaps in between. And it's all under the guise of being more productive or there's more output. Therefore, it means you get more. But you're burning the candle at both ends and running out of space. So I'm really conscious about that now, and like building in rest time, but also building in what a bunch of people I talk to on a regular basis call white space in the calendar. That's like, you've got heaps of stuff to do, but if you just put white space in there and there's no plans, it's thinking time, it's go for a walk, it's listen to music time, it's, draw, whatever it is. That's such a great just pressure release valve moment that, you're then not just constantly chasing the next thing. I also, I read a book not too long ago called Time Anxiety, and it was to do with just the idea of time as this perceived pressure thing. And the amount that time and my perception of it dictated my behavior was so unhealthy, because I'd be like, oh, I've got to get to this thing soon. I can't remember what the term for it is, but when you've got an appointment in the afternoon and you go, I've got 4 hours until I got to get that thing, but it's just the crippling, I can't do anything else because that other thing's coming. It's kind of like that with burnout, where you've just kind of got this crippling pressure on you, but you keep going forward and doing more stuff anyway because you're quote unquote expected to do it. Yeah. So recognizing it and putting into place some sort of behaviors or structures to help relieve that pressure has been really key.
Yeah. But particularly in the field of creativity, field of play, if you're exhausted, if you've got burnout to the point where you're exhausted, it's been proven that your creativity shuts down because you just go into survival mode. So therefore your job becomes harder. There's some beautiful studies around what happens in the brain when you play, and about how it activates the same areas of your brain that are when you're stressed.
Yeah.
The only difference is that you don't have, when you're in fight or flight, you have this cortisol. I think we've spoken about it before. And so, but to actually tell your conscious that, to actually feel that, to actually know that you can have the strength to stop and put everything down. I like to couple it with, I quite like sometimes the feeling of being, we talked about pushing the edges and a little bit of rebellion and naughtiness. I quite like to do something that feels naughty in the day. I will hop into bed at lunchtime and read a book for 15 minutes because it feels naughty, right? In the middle of the day. And it's only small, but it sort of adds the essence of play, but also that essence of rebellion. Yeah.
I just similarly shower in the middle of the day, right? I might go drop the boys off and go to the gym and then get back just in when everybody's starting work. So I won't shower until maybe lunchtime, and then have a lunchtime shower. And I'm like, this is weird. It's daylight. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? But it's you're exactly right. It's the little pattern interrupt thing that kind of feels cheeky or a little bit naughty. And it's it's really fun. I was going to say with the idea of burnout, but in relation to information overload as well, because I'm sort of thinking ahead of today's episode about the work we do, we describe it as sort of fun, humor, wonder, and there's a lot of levity involved in what we do too, particularly in if we're producing content for a conference or something like that. And so often our work is there to kind of be this little pressure valve moment of empathy or emotion or humor or whatever it is. And it's really about going, hey, there's going to be a whole bunch of dense information conveyed to you in this couple of hours. Then let's have a little moment of going, let's just, and just relieve that pressure.
Yes.
And I think that it's the same in personal circumstances and burnout, where if you don't have those little outlets, it just keeps boiling and simmering until it explodes.
Yes. Yeah. And it's actually more productive. So I have a session and a workshop that I run around beating burnout with play. And I did one recently for LinkedIn, the LinkedIn In-Day, and we do an experiment actually live in the workshop. And so we would, depending on the topic, but for LinkedIn, we talked about what can LinkedIn do as an organization to combat burnout. So we gave everybody a few minutes at the beginning to come up with ideas, and it was really just quantity versus quality, right? So just as much as you can pump out.
Yeah.
And then we all stopped and we all played in the middle. And then we came back to the same problem afterwards and kept coming up with ideas. And inevitably what happens is the ideas at the beginning are those traditional, okay, well, we could have a fruit bowl, or we could have extra day, or we could have extra day in lieu, and then we would stop and play. And then beyond the play is when the real ideas would get really juicy. Like we could have a fireman's pole, we could have colouring books on every desk, or like, so there's a real change. And every time I've done this workshop, every time I've done this experiment, and I've done it with a range of topics, I always note the difference in the quality of the problem solving post play than pre play.
Interesting. I think too, one thing I've recognized is like it's the intentionality behind that play too. So we are creative, we make videos for our job every day. Yet when have always been across my entire career, I've found a creative outlet of making some other video project really beneficial to solving the burnout feeling.
Yes.
Years ago, it was a web series and it kind of tickled a different part of my process, and it was just this nice little outlet, but intentional in that I made it for that purpose. Then it was a short film, then it was a whole bunch of YouTube videos the last couple of years. And it's like I so often think about, parenting and that kind of relationship where, you're constantly on in that situation. And unless you're constantly looking out for each other and going, hey, you need to have a little break here, there's this thing called revenge procrastination.
What?
Which is like you stay up later than you should doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, like doom scrolling or whatever, just to give yourself the feeling like you've got some autonomy over your own life.
Oh, that sounds like every parent in the world
exactly,
ever.
Right? And I'm very bad at this because I'll be like, I'll wake up early and I'll walk the dog and then I'll get all the breakfast ready and blah, 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 get home and I'll dinner, bath, bedtime, spend some time with my wife, and then I'll be like, great, everybody's gone to bed. I'm going to sit on the couch and like do something, and I'll end up just scrolling mindlessly.
Yes.
It's not solving the problem of you don't have any time for you. So being really intentional, being like, I need time for myself. I'm going to go out and do a thing. I did like a little artist's date for myself a while back and went to the Lego Star Wars exhibit.
Did you?
And it was just like, great, no rhyme or reason. It was about 4:00 in the afternoon. So I left work early just to do this thing for me. And what a joy it is to have the intentionality and the self-importance to be able to do that, to recognize that this is important to make my output better for everybody else as well.
Yes, I need to do this for me so that everyone else can benefit.
Yeah, you'll be the better version of yourself because of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I like to take myself out for dinner.
Great.
And I love to sit in a restaurant silently and watch everybody. I love people watching, and it's like a field of people watching.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite thing, one of my favorite things to do. So often I'll be like, taking myself out for the night. And off I go and find a really crowded restaurant and
great
have a meal.
Do you find, and like, again, probably people listening to this feeling quite self-conscious, like, what a great idea. How do you overcome the self-consciousness part of it? Because I'm sure there's part of you that's sitting there going, well, there's other people looking at me. Why is she alone? Da, da, da. Is there any part of that enters your mind?
I think there used to be.
Yeah.
But now I think you just have to just do it once. It's like anything. Just give it a try.
Yeah.
Sit with it. That first urge to pick up your phone because you feel weird, stay solid. And then eventually, and also too, you know what I do? Actually, I'll give my secrets away. People give away a lot in their feet. I'm a huge voyeur of physical communication, of nonverbal communication, and people give away so much of themselves in their feet. So I will often start by looking at people's feet because it will tell me whether they're wanting to have dinner with the person, whether they're not, whether they're enjoying the conversation, whether they're not. And also it just lowers your gaze. So when you feel awkward at the beginning,
you can just stare at
it. Doesn't matter. You're looking at the ground, but actually you're still watching people. You're just watching not the non-obvious parts of people.
I've not moved my feet since you've brought this up and you can't see my feet.
Yeah.
How easily can you tell?
I would imagine that you would have your feet pointing towards me at this point in time. And I would imagine that they are now solidly on the ground, but I would imagine that you put a lot of energy in the front parts of your feet.
Interesting. I don't know. Can you see it on the wide angle, the feet? Kind of. So have a look, poke my feet, right? So I didn't move this since you started talking about. I've left them there purposely.
Okay.
But does this say anything? Yeah, they're not firmly planted, but they're like nestled in quite tightly with each other.
Yep.
They are pointed, and there's a lot of force on my left
Front?
ball of my foot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What does that say? Is it
because
I'm
you're
engaged or am
you're focused.
Yeah.
That would be like I would look at those feet. Yeah, so it's pointing towards me. So I would suggest, if we were having dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, am I saying this? If we were having dinner, I'd look at your feet and I'd say your foot was pointing towards me. So you want to be in my company. It's not like you're looking for an escape or a way to get out. Your feet are crossed. So I would also say that you're containing yourself.
Yeah.
So you are probably trying to concentrate and make sure that you're saying the right things, but you're also focused because you've got a lot of pressure on your front bit of your foot.
I mean, I feel like we strayed very far from burnout, but this is very interesting. If I've taken one thing from this is I'm going to look at everybody's feet
I'm
from
certainly
now on.
revealing more of myself.
Ben's disinterested. Chase is disinterested.
I'm excited. I'm twisting.
But yeah. So anyway, we've deviated. So yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to go out and watch people's feet.
So, mate, I'm absolutely doing that from now on.
I guess the bottom line is fine. You really need to be conscious and cautious so you don't fall into that burnout trap. Particularly, would you like some interesting facts about burnt out cities?
You know me and you know I would.
I know.
Please.
I know how much you love a fact.
I love a fact.
Melbourne is the second most burnt out city in the world.
Yeah, right.
More than Sydney. Sydney's number 5. Australians, culturally, very susceptible to burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any inclination in the data as to why that might be? Like, is it?
Apparently, theories culturally we have this work ethic that says, I got to do it. Got to do it for your mates. There's that sort of inbuilt thing. That's a generalization.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody really knows.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, look, I don't think we're going to solve burnout in our little podcast today.
We are not.
But I certainly think it's worth sharing and talking about, right?
Definitely.
Because, we've all gone through it. You and I have gone through it. It's something that I think as the pressures of work and life mount, the idea of stopping feels harder and harder to do and take. So, I think for anybody out there, play a little bit, give yourself permission to have some space because,
and I think important. It's the real enemy of both creativity and play.
Yeah.
This sense of burnout. So.
Unless you're doing a cool like street racing movie and you need more burnouts, but that's pretty limited and niche.
Oh, my 7-year-old on his bike, he likes to do a burnout.
Yeah.
Anyway.
How do we end this?
I don't know. Like that?